Okay, this is the underside of the GTO, and what I'm going to do is I'm getting ready to prep it for seam sealer. So I just wanted to show you, I wiped everything down with, right there, I wiped it down with some acetone just to make sure everything's nice and clean. So I sanded everything, I got rid of the surface rust from it sitting in the garage. So I got to seam seal all this in here. So I want to make sure everything is nice and clean all along there. Seam seal in here. So in other words, the purpose for seam sealing is to keep all the moisture out from the seams so you don't have any rust. So I just wanted to show you that. All down in here. I mean, this is a long process, so I'm just prepping it now, cleaning it up, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray it with some etching primer all down in here. Just want to show you, this is the underside, all cleaned up, scraped off all the surface rust. I still have a lot to do, but I'm just going to coat this now with some etching primer. I still have to clean the wheel well up here. See, there's some surface rust right there. Get rid of that sticker that's there, clean all that up. So I just want to show you that right in there. Just want to show you the inner wheel well. And I haven't cleaned this yet. I'm going to sand this, lightly sand it, before I go ahead and do anything with that. But I just want to prep everything. That's some fresh metal that I did today. So get back to you. See you in a bit. Okay, I just got done putting on self-etching primer. I gave it a quick coat because I wanted to make sure that everything is covered, meaning there's etching primer on here, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to do all my seam seals now. So I wanted to be able to make sure everything's covered up before I do that. So I'm going to bring you over here and I'm going to show you exactly what I do to seam seal all the joints on my, this is a new floor pan, a new trunk pan, a new firewall. So I just want to make sure everything is sealed up properly. So I'm going to bring you over here and show you what I'm going to be using and how I'm going to do it. So if you have any questions, let me know. Okay, these are the urethane seam sealer that I'm going to be using. It's from 3M. So it's 08367. Let me show you that. 08367. So this one must be a little older one. That's why it's a little different package. This must be a newer one. But anyway, it's a black seam sealer. I'm going to use it to fit in these seams right in here, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that. Okay, I also wanted to show you this in case you buy it and you're wondering how this works. There's a pull tab here. Once you pull this out, okay, there is a plastic seal in there. They only install this to keep it airtight. So now that would fit a regular caulk gun. So let me grab my caulk gun over here. Okay, so this is my regular painter's caulk. It would fit it, sits inside, very easy to do. So in case you're wondering, because when I first did this years ago, I was like, this is never going to work. I don't have a special gun, but that's all it is. So in case you're wondering, you know, then you make your small tip, you puncture this on this side, and then you dispense your sealer. So it's a little cold out today, so it's running a little thick. So let me just show you. You see it coming out as I'm squeezing it. So just go gently, and then I have a rubber glove I use because you don't want to cut your finger if you have any sharp metal coming through. So that's all you need to do. So I'm just going to do, I'll do this section right here, and then I'll bring you over and show you what it looks like. So just go in there gently. It's really nice. You don't want to overwhelm it, but you want to make sure you get it in those cracks, or seams rather, you know, and just run it down there. Make sure you're generous with the amount that you're using, and get it in those crevices, because you don't want any moisture in there where it's going to rust. So I'm just going to run this down there like that, and I'm going to bring you over here and show you. All right, so I'm using a glove that has a rubber base to it. So then you just gently just run down the line and just make sure you squeeze it in there gently. You have about a 30-minute work time on this. Like I said, it's cold, and it's actually really sticky. So make sure you get it in there. All right, so let me turn the camera off and bring you over here and show you what it looks like. Okay, here you go. I'm just going to bring you in really close. So you just work it in that seam right there. It's not pretty. It's on the underside of the car. I don't really care how pretty it looks right now. But it's just to seal that joint so no moisture gets in there and rusts. So I just wanted to show you that's what it looks like. So if you have any questions, just let me know. Put it in the comments section. But there's a lot to do. As you can see, like this gap here is pretty heavy. Then like over here where the floor pan is to the firewall, right there, you have about maybe 3/16 inch gap. Here you have an 1/8 inch gap. You just want to make sure you put it in there and it seals up properly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to seal everything, and then I'm going to turn the camera back on. I painted it primer gray so I can see easily what needs to be sealed. So all in here, this is where the wheel well is, all of that needs to be sealed and with the urethane sealer. So, and that seam where the wheel well is, all that has to be sealed. So I have a lot to do. So let me seam seal this all up. And I'll get back to you. The other thing I wanted to mention to you is this is the structural brace of the floor pan. So this right here where this weld seam is, you see how they left it open? And that is for any water or condensation that builds in here. You want it to get out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to seal it probably from the left side here to the right side and leave this open about, I want to say maybe a 1/2 inch on all of them. So this one here and then this one there. So I want to make sure that air gets in there so it dries and the water comes out if any water does get in there. Just wanted to let you guys know. Like I said, this is a very long and tedious job. So you want to make sure you do it right. So even if you put it on just a little heavy, and just smooth it out as you go. Get in there and straighten out all. All right, I'm going to turn the camera off because there's a lot to do here. And when I'm all done, seam sealing everything up, I'm going to turn the camera back on. So if you have a question or comment, leave it below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I wanted to show you this as well. I used my finger just to get it in the crevices really nicely, and you see how wide I spread that. And this one, I didn't do my finger, so it almost looks like it's self-leveling out. And it will do that. You don't have to use your finger to smooth it out because it actually blends in there nicely. But I'm doing that just to make sure it gets in those cracks nice and tight. So I haven't done it yet here. You don't have to do it, but because the thicker it is, the more movement it would have and less crack in the future. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna Raptor coat the underside of this, so then I'm not really worrying about anything getting in there. So that's going to be another video that I'm going to do. But I just wanted to show you that before I go ahead and level everything out. And I did around this bolt here, as you can see, because it's just spot welded in. It's not welded all the way around. So I wanted to make sure that that gets in there and sealed nice and tight. And here's the opening right there I left open. So the water, any water that gets in there could come out without it flash rusting or anything like that. Just so you're aware of it. All right, so anyway, let me continue on. I'm all done touching up. I put a lot of light, made sure I have everything covered really well. Seam sealed. So I'm gonna bring you down here a little closer so I can show you everything that I've done, where I've seam sealed it. I forgot to install my knockout plugs here. So everything here is dry. I did it yesterday, but I forgot I didn't install these, and I had to flatten this plug out and that plug out because it was really close to my frame when I boxed it. I have a video on that. Make sure you check it out. I'm going to try to put a link up here. Okay, so I'm going to take my glove off. I'm going to take my glove off. Like I said, I touched up a bunch of spots, and I'm going to bring you down here a little closer so I can show you the seams. But I wanted to make sure everything was sealed so I don't have any issues down the line with the frame starting to flash rust and rust like that. So I put a coat of etching primer, pretty heavy. I did the whole entire under half of it. And then what I ended up doing was seam sealing it, making sure everything is seam sealed properly. And then is put a coat of Raptor coat bed liner on here just for sound deadening and make sure that it is weather resistant. So I don't want to have any problems with it rusting, so I had to make sure I did everything sealed wise so I won't have a problem with it rusting. So let me turn the camera around and bring you over here and show you what I've done. Okay, this is the underside of the frame here, so I'm going to try to go slow so I can show you. This right here, you got to make sure you leave this open so water that gets in here actually can come out. Because a lot of cars I've noticed that I've done in the past, this area here is really rusted out because they end up sealing this and the water that's back here cannot get out, so it just builds up and then eventually rusts through. See this one over here, I left it open See that right there? Okay, so I got a lot of light. Sorry about the light glare. So then everything here is sealed nicely all the way up. Let me show you this one because there's not that much. Okay, so I did my transmission tunnel. I wanted to make sure that is sealed from the underside in case I had any pinholes. I didn't see any when I shined the light, but I'd just rather be safe than sorry. So I wanted to show you, this is the knockout plug. I have to finish sealing around here. And I did all the underside of the GTO. Make sure you don't, here, I'll show you this one down here. Make sure that you do not seal these up here. These are weep holes for the rocker panels. Make sure that the water gets out. So make sure you don't seal that up. There's actually a little plastic flap that sits here that keeps any rodents from running in and out. It was there before. I don't know how I'm going to secure it. I don't know if you could buy them or not, but if you do, leave a comment, let me know. I haven't seen them. Every time I replace the rocker, I've never seen anything that will cover that up properly. But anyway, I did the underside of the wheel well there, made sure that is sealed up properly so I don't have any water issues over there. And I did the upper, or the inner and the outer wheelhouse, made sure that's seam sealed. And I also seam sealed around here. This is where the seat belt buckle attaches to for your rear seat. So I made sure that was all done and sealed properly. So I just wanted to show you that. Okay, I sealed up the knockout plugs. Just want to show you that. Made sure everything is sealed up properly so I don't have any moisture in there. So there you go. All right, and this whole underside and the knockout plugs, the inner and outer wheel wells, everything here took 3 tubes of the 3M urethane seam sealer. So just so you're aware, it's expensive, but that one's empty. All 3 of these are empty. I still have to do the inside of the wheel wells, the trunk. I mean, there's a lot of seam sealer to be put on, but I just wanted to show you pretty much this is what it's going to look like if you're doing it yourself. Like I said, the underside is not that pretty because no one really sees it, but you want to make sure that you do not have any problems with moisture when you're doing your car. So just wanted to show you that and share with you. I hope this video helps you in your build. So please like, share, and subscribe.